me from the future again. Welcome back to part 2 of this vlog, and if you haven't seen part 1, make sure you go and watch that so you understand where we are, why we're here, etc, etc, and I hope you enjoy part 2. We're in the new swim now, number 7. Let's take a little walk back so you can see a wider picture of it. Now this tree's a bit of a problem, but we're going to work around that. So I've thrown some bait underneath this tree, which is looking likely. Can have one off the reeds at the back and then one off this tree here. I like it when you move, because when you set your bivvy back up and everything, it's all like back to light, tidy and brand new, whereas it was trashed a minute ago. You know, from all the activity in the night and stuff, you just end up trashing it, don't you? But that's all set up. But like I was saying yesterday, I do have the option of getting a single bank stick and putting it in this swim. And I could, so that's where I was, in that little gap over there. My rods and everything are still over there, I've got to go and get them. But yeah, I do have the option of, you know, having one down here or something like that, just as a little thingy. But yeah, I need to go back and get my rods. But look, you see what I had to barrow through just to get round here. Good thing is tomorrow I can actually pull my car up here and load the car back up. But yeah, that's what I had to barrow through to get around here. Like I say, completely unkept. And believe it or not, there's actually more swims on this side of the lake. If you look at the lake map that I put on earlier, you'll see there's supposed to be more swims. But you get down here, yeah, believe it or not, there's like 2 or 3 swims down on this island point, but completely inaccessible. Is that the right word? Can't access them basically. Right, let's go get these rods. Oh, we're back now, fully operational. All 3 rods are out. I've got all 3 rods out in this swim at the moment. That one there I'm having a little think about later, maybe overnight. Oh, little liner on the middle rod, that's what we like. Now I did bump into Matt in the car park. When I went round to get my rods, I quickly ran down to my car to get another bottle of water out, and I bumped into Matt, who's fishing down there with Dan, and they were sort of packing up to go. And I sort of said to him, how many do you have? You know, being that we've had sort of 7, I thought perhaps, you know, everybody on the lake who was fishing would have had a similar result. But he said he had nothing. I'm now fishing the same water that they've been fishing, so that doesn't really fill me with much confidence. But the thing is, I don't know what rigs sort of set up they're going with. You know, I don't know if that, you know, they're fishing the spinners, or, you know, they could be fishing chods, or they could, you know, I don't know. I didn't ask. I know what bait he's going to be using. He's going to be using his own, obviously, isn't he? Vader baits. I can't see it being a bait problem, because speaking to him about the bait that he makes, they only do freezer, because he refuses to use any sort of preservatives or anything like that. All his baits are sort of high fat, high protein and natural products that, like I say, they only do a freezer bait. So it's a good quality bait, so it's not going to be the bait that's letting them down. I don't know what it is, you know. Like I say, I don't know what rig setup they got, but all I do know is I've used the last 3 of the Faithfuls. I've got my standard sort of setup using my Carpers Essentials VX Plus hooks, which are phenomenal in barbed and barbless. I'm just using my normal, super simple, supple braid, slip D, with a swivel, flossing the baits on in a PVA bag. Super simple fishing. I've got so much faith in this McNut at the moment. It hasn't let me down anywhere I've gone. Last sort of several sessions I've had, I've caught consistently. So despite the fact that they haven't caught in the last sort of 24 hours, it's not going to worry me too much. I've already just had sort of disturbance on my left rod, and before I come on camera, on my middle rod while I've been on camera. So we've got fish in the area. I've got nothing but confidence in my rigs. I've got nothing but confidence in this and I've got nothing but confidence in what I've put over the top, which is the McNut boilie and the Wraysbury Bait sort of house pellet. So yeah, 100% faith in my setup, and yeah, I know we'll have one. We've got 24 hours now. Actually, we got 24 hours, 25 hours, but obviously that includes pack down time. So 24 hours of fishing, and I know we will have another fish. I'm not even concerned about that. It's just started raining now. I was just sat here looking at the water, and I was looking at this tree, and I was thinking, what's all that about? Why is it like that? But I honestly think if you look at the reeds as well, and you can sort of see up about the same sort of height as that mark on the tree, the reeds are a different colour. So I'm guessing in winter, this place, and you can see on the number 7 post, the water must really get up that high, which is insane really, because that would be this whole sort of area underwater. It'd have to be, for the water to be that high in the margin, for the water to be that high, that must mean that this whole sort of pathway and everything ends up underwater. It'd have to be, wouldn't it? You know? It'd have to be, because if you look at this as well, at the bottom of this tree, same thing. See where it's light and dark, light and dark. That tree as well. Light and dark, light and dark. That's insane, isn't it? So this whole lake must just become, you know, one. And even if you look over where I was fishing earlier, I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but even that tree, look at the water level on that tree. So yeah, this whole lake must just become one lake in the winter months, and just become completely unfishable, because you know, the bank round the back where I was earlier, if the water's up that high, that's completely underwater. So this whole fishery must just be completely unfishable through the winter months. Like I told you, nothing but faith. Nothing but faith. And it's a big one, and it's a common. It's a big old common, boy. Somewhere in there, boy. There we go. Yes. Literally 10 minutes. 10 minutes that's taken. Let's come off of that one. I told you that one looked likely, didn't I? Nothing but faith in the old McNut boy. Come on. Big old common in the net. Love it. Thought I'd just show you for giggles how we get that spot, that rod in that spot. So I've just cast it out. Now I've got to do some tree hugging, because I can't hit that spot. It's a little bit. I'm working it around the tree stump. Let's turn the reverse on, get some more line out on there, boy. But yeah, that's how you have to do that. But as you can see in the net, it's been rewarded. So let's deal with this common. Now that rod's back out, right, this fish is gonna beat the absolute life out of me. I landed it, then obviously I sorted the rod out first, got the rod back on the spot, literally just about to get it out of the side, out of the net, sorry, and then my middle one went off because a roach took it. Then I literally sorted that one out, just casted it back out, then the EA turned up, checked rod license and just have a chat and everything like that. And then literally he went, and I thought, right, I'll get the fish out, got it out, put it in a retaining sling, transferred it to the retaining sling, brought it here, put it into the cradle, bailiff turns up, rig check. Okay, let's put the fish back in the margin in the retaining sling, rig check, redo my right rod, get that back out. Now we're only just coming to deal with this fish. So it's a common, which, you know, they're always loony anyway. And now it's been resting for about 30 minutes in the sling. So it's going to be even crazier. So let's see. Oh. No, so far so good, but there we go. That was our awards. Definitely the biggest one on the trip. It's not as big as I thought it was. It's got a much bigger head than the mirrors. It is the biggest one we've had so far, so it's definitely made the move worth it. And it's a lovely common, and you know I do love a common. So yeah, for me that's definitely made the move worth it. And to hear people say that like they haven't caught in the last 24 hours and this, that and the other, and like I told you, full confidence in the bait, full confidence in the end tackle, full confidence in them sonic rods to do the business. Full confidence in everything that I'm using. And like I say, we've been rewarded with a lovely, lovely common, and the biggest one of the trip so far. Like I say, I have had him sitting around in the retainer for quite a while and stuff, so let's get some pictures of him and then send him back on his merry way. I might slip him back into this side of the lake though, so he don't go running back to that snag and tell all his mates to stay away from that McNut. Don't tell them. Well, it's been a couple of hours since that bite, and nothing over there now. It has dried right up, no bite, liners, no sort of bubbling, no nothing. So the old third rod in the other side is activated, just out on some singles, literally just there to the side of that willow up against the island. So landed beautifully just off the island. So even if we just pick up some of them mirrors that we were getting from the other side, you know, just saying to get a bite, you know what I mean. But yeah, I did yesterday when I got here, I put a lot of bait in that corner over there because it was bubbling, but from here it's just impossible to cast to. So getting overhead above me here, so this way here was sort of like the only angle we could get to. So that's where we are. Let's see what happens. One thing I've sort of noticed about this fishery as well is that you just can't seem to catch a fish from open water. I mean, I've been fishing up against reeds and snags the whole time I've been here, but I can't be bothered with the wrapping up. I'm quite a good sort of judge at short distance, like, you know, and you can always stop the spool with your finger if you think you've overhit it, sort of thing. But we managed to get it, you know, tight up to the snags and reeds every time. But a couple of times where I have fallen short, or, you know, pulled it back because I thought it was going long, and it's ended up like plopping, you know, 6 or 7 foot off the reeds. And every single time I've done that, the rods have not gone, you know. And then after a few hours, I've got it in, redone it, put it back against the reeds, and then within an hour or two it's gone, like when I was over there, sort of thing. A couple of times, like, it fell short, went mid-water here, my right rod fell short, went mid-water, and hasn't done anything. And that's what made me think about it. I think maybe I need to redo that rod and get it tighter to that bush, because it just seems weird, like 9 bites, 8 landed, I think, or either 8 bites, 7 landed, I can't remember now, but none of them have come from an open water. They've all come from being right tight against either the snags or the reeds. It's just, don't know, just a little observation I made, you know what I mean? Like, none of the fish have come from open water, even though there's a lot of sort of bubbling and feeding activity open water. You know, a lot of the bubbling that you see in the swims is coming from middle of the lake, sort of thing. You can just see them grubbing around and the water clouding up. But you put a rig there and nothing happens. Put it against the reeds and it goes. So yeah, I've never really fished anywhere that's that sort of spotty before. Like, you know, you can normally get them if they're feeding. You can get them. You know what I mean? But yeah, it definitely seems to be the case that you've got to be like right up against either the snags or the bushes and reeds and stuff. Strange. Well, the old third rod over here has gone off, which is good and everything. Got a bite, but again, it's one of these ones. But look how scaly that is. Imagine that when it gets to be about you know, 20 pound or something. That'll be a lovely fish. So just let that one go. Been watching the old fish fizzing and bubbling and feeding over all the bait I put next to that snag where I got that common from. Wondering how the bloody hell I haven't had a bite. So I thought, let me redo it in case the little fish have messed it up. Look. The hook is going clean through the twig. So there's absolutely no wonder we haven't had a bite from there. Well, while I was putting that rod back out, it's all done now. Do it from like over there, you can get right over there, and then it's just a little underarm into the front of these trees. But just as I was casting it out, I saw a 16 to 18 pound mirror, similar to the ones we've been having, just come along the reed line and go in behind the tree. So that's in behind that tree at the moment now, and my bag is just back out in front of the tree. So fingers crossed he comes across it. Well, I knew it wasn't going to take long for that mirror to take the bait. Let's get it in though. Barbless hooks, we don't want to mess around too much. Well, this is not good, is it? It's took me into the margin, picked up half a tree from down there, and I'm now fighting the carp and a tree. Well, he was definitely the hardest fighting one we've had so far, and the smartest. He's only about the same size as them other ones, but Jesus Christ, he kept taking me down here where there's some trees sort of sticking out under the water and that, and I could pinging off them. Then he was in there, then he was back here, then he was back there. You know, he really knew all the places that he could cut me off. And like I say, somehow I ended up with half a tree attached to me mid-fight, and that was pretty hairy. I feel I'm out of breath. I had to really play that, you know, to get it in. Jesus, it was, you know, it was all down in here, then it was all down in that bit there, down in here. Now he's down in there though. Who the boss? Who's your boss now? Me. There we go then. Fish number 10. I think, number 10. Now when I got this one up onto the mat, I was in utter shock because, like I told you, this fish fought harder than any of the others, was a lot more smarter than the others with its sort of like tactics, trying to get down into them, trying to get down into the sort of snags and in the margin, rubbing up the margin and everything like that. He was a lot more intelligent than the others, a lot more harder fighting than the others, and I honestly thought it was going to be a big one until I saw it slip in the net, and I thought, oh, it's only the same size as the other ones, and then I've got it out and it's actually smaller, you know, knocking on 12 pound or something. But a lovely carp, and like I say, a champion the way it fought. Real warrior, quite crazy. It's got quite a nice scale pattern as well. It's almost identical on both sides, but I will show you this side actually of this one because it's got lovely scales, ain't it? Let's have a little look. I haven't really bothered. Not really someone that does that whole, I'll show you the other side and stuff like that, you know. You know, once you've seen one, you've sort of seen them all, haven't you? Especially when we're just catching pretty much like for like. And also I hate holding fish this way round. Oh look, he's angry now. Go on up the dorsal. But yeah, lovely scaly one, really nice. Like to see you at about 30 pounds please. But yeah, let's get some pictures and get it back. Well, besides that tiny little carp earlier, that one that's in the other lake, or the other side of the lake, is not doing anything. Mind you, neither's this right hand one, but at least the left one's produced two decent fish. But yeah, that other one ain't doing nothing. So this is a beef burger, all you know, squashed up into little balls. I've got some krill dumbbells which I'm going to crush up because I don't even use these. I'm going to crush them all up into dust. And I've got some garlic supreme. I decided I might fish for one of the catfish. Worth a shot, innit?
Tell me that's not the most mental hook bait you've ever seen. That's a beef burger moulded around 2 krill wafters. That is insane.
Well, the old catfish concoction is now out there. Here, putty. Hopefully, we get a bit of pussy. But, yeah, no, it's out there. Strangest concoction ever. Watch what's going to happen. Biggest carp in the lake. Absolutely crazy concoction. And like literally half a bottle of this cord of goo that I won at the Stoney and Friends thing as well. Garlic, it's not really something I use, so I just wasted like half a bottle of it. Load of beef burger, crushed up krill dumbbells, pellets, all in a PVA bag. Threw the other 5 or 6 lumps of beef burger in and around the area for a bit of baiting up like. And yeah, watch me catch a carp on it, if anything. But actually, what I've come to say is, it's 10 to 6 and I'm thinking of moving. Thinking of moving swim. I've got one rod that's done 2 bites in like 10 hours. I mean, it was snagged up for a couple of hours, weren't it? But it's done 2 bites in 10 hours and the other 2 rods are not really doing anything apart from we had one the size of a goldfish earlier over there. So, here's what I'm thinking. Hear me out. I might go where Matt and Dan were because they put out a load of bait, 2 fish between them in 24 hours. And, you know, like I showed you earlier, it was all blocked off this side. You couldn't get down the middle of the island, but on their one you can, which means you get access to where my 2 rods are, where we're getting fish out from the snag. You get access to this bit behind me, and you get access to the channel that comes between them, between the 2. You get to the point of the island, you get access to there. So you get access to sort of 3 different parts of the lakes from one swim. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we fish all 3 parts of the lake for the last 12 hours. Well, it'll be like 9 hours. So, yeah, I think I'm going to give it till about 7. Load up the car, which is now just there, right? Drive back round to the other gate, back in there, barrow back round to that point there, set back up and fish the night round there. It's just a thought though. I'm going to see if I can muster up the energy to do it, or you know, if I do get another bite off this rod here and it's a decent one, or if that catfish one does go, it might sort of persuade me to stay put. But I am thinking, let's get on our toes and move, because we've got one rod doing something, and right now, apart from the common, all it's done is get me one, same as what we had over there. I want a catfish. I've just decided now. So, and he had one from there. So, yeah, we are back. We are now in swim number 12. Rods are out, bivvy's up. Everything's go. So let's have a look. Left rod, just see where that gap is there, just sort of on the entrance there. The old middle rod, it's just there, and the right rod is just underneath them willows there. So yeah, this was the swim Matt was in last night, and the reason I wanted to come round here, like I said, is because you can get down this one, which means tomorrow morning when I wake up at sort of 4 or 5 o'clock, I can put a rod out in this section. I can have a rod on the interception, which is obviously, that's where I was fishing, over there, down into there. And like I say, there's supposed to be swims either side of here, but you can't get to it because it's all overgrown. I'll see the carp coming in and out of here. So in the morning I'm going to have one on here, I'm going to have one on here, and then obviously I'll have one out there for the last 4 or 5 hours. I'm going to be 100% honest, I'm not feeling confident at all. Bit of a brokey at the minute, so didn't have much bait left. I need to get some from Wraysbury Baits, but I was down to my last sort of like 3 or 4 kilos, so didn't really bring enough for a 48-hour session anyway. And Put a bit too much in yesterday when I first got here, when I saw bubbling in that corner with the idea of fishing that corner. Put quite a bit of bait in where I was catching from originally, the 7 fish. Then when I moved over there, I sort of used what I had left and baited the 3 spots that I sort of planned to fish for the next 24 hours, and now I've ended up moving. So now we're down to solid bags only. So that's one reason. Although, like I say, Matt was fishing this swim yesterday. I don't know exactly what spots, but he would have put bait out there. And secondly, I just feel like probably this is probably the most sort of pressure and disturbance the fish have probably seen for a while. This place is so underfished and underkept and everything like that. I don't think they've probably seen this much disturbance. I'm bouncing around the lake like a madman, you know, casting in one bit, you know, putting rods in one bit, putting rids. They probably haven't seen this sort of line pressure with Matt and Dan being here yesterday. The guy that moved in next to me over there down on sort of peg 2. So they probably haven't seen this much pressure for a while, and it wouldn't surprise me if they sort of switch off. So Matt Blank's in here for the last 24 hours. So I feel like the next 12 hours could probably go the same for me. Although, like I say, I'm going to set an alarm for 4:30, 5, get up, so that if I have managed to get sort of 5 or 6 hours kit because I haven't caught anything, I'm going to get them 2 rods repositioned into different parts of the lake and try and force a last minute bite. I won't stop. You know, I'll keep moving around trying to find them. Excuse me, trying to find them. So that's all I can do. But yeah, I'm not feeling 100% confident. Still glad I made the move. Don't get me wrong. I'm not thinking, oh, why have I moved? It wasn't really happening down there either, was it? You know, a couple of bites off that snag. The last 2 rods up, when I pulled the rods in, it was all caught up in branches again. So, you know, I don't want to start leading around down there and push the fish right out. So that 2 out of 4 casts I've put down there have caught me a fish, and 2 out of 4 have snagged me. So if the 5th one ends up being a snag situation, it's going to be wasted all night. So, I mean, that could happen here, but it could happen anywhere, couldn't it? But I wasn't feeling confident. Like I say, 2 rods were doing absolutely nothing down there. Didn't have a receiver on that 3rd rod that I had out in the other side on the Nash Siren. I don't have a receiver for that, so I couldn't leave that there all night. So I'd have had to bring it back into that swim, and that would have been 3 rods fishing in that small sort of swim, and there's only 1 rod that's done bites. So I'm totally glad I made the move, but I'm not feeling confident. If I could pick up a bite in the next hour or 2, then I'd probably start to feel a little bit more confident, because like I say, Matt did blank in here for the last 24 hours. So we'll see, won't we? Well, there we go. Less than 2 hours in the spot. It's 10:15 now. Rods only went out, you know, just before 9 o'clock, about 8:30. And we're off the mark. Left rod from underneath that willow tree in that little gap. And I just got it back out there before dealing with the fish, as always. And, you know, I'm not really someone that pays myself too many compliments, but I've got to say, this weekend, or this session should I say, because it's midweek, I've been very happy with my casting, especially even in the dark, because that just went back spot on. And it is like so dark out here. There's no, both the other swims I had a bit of light from the street, but this one's obviously in the middle of the lake on the islands. There's no light. But yeah, first bite of the night from this swim. So that's all 3 swims, a bite now. And like I say, after Matt blanking in there for 24 hours, I wasn't feeling that confident. Having no baits put over the top, I wasn't feeling that confident. But I should have, shouldn't I? Because I've got the McNut dumbbell wafters on there, glugged with the McNut. I've got the crushed McNut boilie mixed with the house pellet in the old PVA bags. And it's done the do, as they say. With this one, like I say, it's not big by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a carp, and we'll take it. there we go then. Our first 20, £21.8 middle rod. Absolutely screamed off. I knew the second the alarm went off that it was an upper 20, it was something 20 or over. And here it is, finally. Something a little bit more worthy of a 100-mile trip. There we go. An absolute brute. Put up one hell of a scrap. Oh, doesn't want to be held. Doesn't want to be on the bank, even after spending all that energy fighting. This thing still has a lot more. Whew. £21.8. I only weighed it because I was just curious, because of the way it fought. I knew it wasn't a PB or anything like that, which is normally the only reason I sort of weigh fish. But I thought I'd just get a weight on it for Matt more than anything. And just like I say, I just knew the way it tore off that it was 20 plus. All right. But yeah, definitely again, like the common made the move down there worth it. This has made that effort of moving here worth it. We've got a 20, our biggest fish of the session, and we haven't blanked in this swim. So, okay. As you can tell, I think she wants to go back, so let's let her. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Well, fish number 13, another one of these little scaly babies. So, yeah, we'll just let this one go. That's that middle rod again. It's produced the smallest bite from this swim and the biggest bite. Where have you gone? Morning. Well, very happy with how last night went. Another 21. We had a 21.8, so can't complain about that. Had that other little one and that other sort of mid-size mirror. So three fish through the night in this swim. It's better than I thought it was going to go. I did actually have a fourth bite, but by the time I got out the bivvy, it had sort of come off. Alarm went off at 5:30. I was just thinking about getting up, and that's when that little one went off. So he forced my hand. No snoozing the alarm for me. And while I was dealing with that, I did hear a big one. Well, sounded like a big one bash right behind me, because I've got a bush here, but the other side of me is the rest of the lake, right? So I've now taken the right hand rod from this side, because it hasn't done anything, not even a liner, and put that on the singles, just in peg 11 into the other water, just sort of where I kind of think I heard that fish. So I've left what was the middle rod is now my right rod here, because that's done the 21 and that little one, and I've left the left one. I've left the left rod underneath that willow, because that's what done us our first bite in this swim when we just got here last night. So, and where we suffered the loss, that was on that left rod from under the willow as well. So I've had 2 bites from under the willow and 2 bites from over the back. So I've left them 2 rods in play here, and I've put the third one round there. Now I'll sit back and drink my coffee. Well, halfway through the coffee, and voila, reacting to that show has definitely paid off. Thought it was a bit of a decent one, not quite as big as the 21 or anything like that, but lovely scaly one. Look, absolute beauty. You beauty. Look at that, absolute stunner. So yeah, like I say, my bivvy is there, and I thought I heard it come from just behind me. There's a bit of a sort of snag situation there, you can see. Don't know what that is. So I just came off to the side of it there, and yeah, less than half a coffee, however long that takes, 5 minutes, and it's gone off. Wow, would you look at that beauty. 5 minutes in the right spot. Just reposition that rod after hearing one bash behind me, behind this bush, and here it is. Absolute stunner. 17 pounds this one weighs. I did weigh it just to get a gauge on the other ones that I'd been catching, in case I've been saying they're sort of 14 to 16 pounds and I'm well off. This one is a bit bigger, so I thought I'll weigh this one. This one's 17, so the other ones were definitely sort of anywhere between 14 and 16 pounds. 17 on the nose, but what a stunning carp. Oh wow, absolute scaly banger. Yeah, like I say, just 5 minutes in the right spot, and this is what it produced. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I've got that rod back out there just in case this isn't the one that I heard, and there's another one out there, but I think it definitely was. Like I say, I heard it, I went round, saw where the ripple came from, put it on the nose. 5 minutes later, this has gone off. So I definitely think it was this one. Oh yeah, I was going to show him the other side anyway, so thank you. This side's even scalier. Oh, look at that. Scales for days. What a stunner you are. Wow. All right, let's get some pictures of you and then get you back. Well guys, barrow's packed up. No rods in this swim, no rods in that swim. You know what it means. Our time has come to an end at Walton Carp Fishery. Well, when I first got here and I saw how sort of unkept it was, and then the first fish I caught was that sort of 2-pounder or whatever, I was a little bit disheartened, thinking, is this what I've driven to Somerset for? You know what I mean? An unkept fishery, you can't fish after swims, blah 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 blah. Got into a bit of a tiz in my head, but then we started catching and we sort of caught consistently, nice average weights, you know, 12, 13, 14, some of them up to 16 pounds. They all put a bend in the rod, and you know, a couple of them really scrapped well. We got on our toes, we made a move, we spent the day over in 7, we caught from 7, we caught from 8. You know, we caught that lovely common from the snag area as soon as we sort of jumped into that swim. Kind of felt that swim died off, decided to make the move over here, despite the fact that Dan and Matt had blanked 24 hours previously in these 2 swims. I've jumped over here, I've had 4 out of 12, landed 3, and I've had 1 this morning, that beautiful scaly banger from over here in peg 11. So we've fished 5 swims, we've moved 3 times, and we've caught from every single spot that we've put a rod. So I called out a massive success. Caught some really nice mirrors, you know, some of them were beautiful scale patterns, even them little baby ones, you know, you just think when they're 17, 18 pound, they're going to look as stunning as that scaly one that I had this morning. So big shout out to this place, really looking forward to seeing what Matt does with it, turning it into a syndicate lake, you know, sorting out all of the overgrown situation. But actually it's one of the things that's made me fall in love with it over the last 48 hours. You feel like you're on, you know, when you walk down the river and it's just like you need to make a swim and stuff like that, like it kind of has that vibe about it, you know, because it's so unkept, which actually is what ended up being something that I fell in love with. So, but looking forward to coming back next year. He said he's going to do a summer social next year and I'm invited to that. So, you know, if he keeps his word, I guess if by then he might things change, right, and it might not happen, but if it does, I'll really look forward to coming back and fishing this place, seeing what he does with it. I will really look forward to that. You know, big shout out again to Carpers Essentials. All the end tackle I've used today, over this last 48 hours, nothing's failed on me. If I've had fish that I've lost, it's been my own fault for not getting to the rods quick enough and allowing them to spit the barbless hooks. There's nothing you can do about that. Don't matter what brand of hooks you use, if they're barbless and you give a fish enough time or enough slack line, they're going to lose it. So big shout out to the Carpers Essential, and a big shout out to Wraysbury Baits again, because I am absolutely smashing it this spring and summer, catching time and time again using the McNut. And you know, what a phenomenal bait, you know, as proven here today, hopefully for you lot to see like just how good that bait is. Not sponsored by them or nothing, I've really got a lot of confidence in that bait. You know, I've gone to Willow Park and caught on it, I've caught on it at Twinehurst, been catching on it at my Syndicate Lake. Come here with landed 19 bites, or we've had 18 bites, 14 landed, I can't remember, but what we have had is a smashing session, really good fun, love this place, can't wait to come back. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'm out of here.